All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, welcome to the third session, and we have an international speaker with us. So, I would like to welcome Mr. Nanik G. Mirpuri. So, very warm welcome to you. Can you
Thank you
hear
very
me?
much. Yes, I can. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nanek is from Nigeria, and I would like to give a brief introduction about Mr. Nanek. So, he did his schooling from Sandhya School, Gwalior, and he did his degree from University of Pune, PhD from Columbus International University, and he is the owner MD and MD of Nikki Manufacturing Co Limited. So, very warm welcome to you. And once again, I would like to say thanks to you for taking out your precious time and participating in this event. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. I would start by apologizing for the very poor internet connectivity. I'm in that part of the world where we have snail speed internet, and especially with the problems going on in Nigeria with the current protests, um, I'm sure there's the bandwidth is clogged. So if you cannot hear me, please accept my apologies.
Sir, I can clearly hear you. That's not a problem.
Perfect. That's good to know.
Yes. So, I request you to please continue with your topic and your presentation. Food safety and traceability.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nanik G. Mirpuri. Like I have already been introduced, I have pleasure in presenting this paper, the short paper on food safety and traceability, to improve the quality of management and to assure food production quality in the bakery sector. Four quality assurance systems are used. The hygiene code for bread and confectionery, HACCP, that's the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points, the ISO 9000 series, which is an international organization for standardization, and the BRC, brand reputation through compliance, which are standards at different levels. Lean programs based on Japanese traditions are also being implemented. However, the quality begins at onboarding, i.e., the selection of equipment. Uh, the previous speaker has spoken quite a bit on the automation, and I presume I don't need to bore anyone else on that. Selection of equipment is absolutely necessary. Measure some more two key KPIs, which we should deploy today, are quality escapes and quality captured. We also need to focus on the process, not people. The process, not people. Every employee comes to work to do a good job. People are obviously our strength in the business. However, process, and like I said, the previous speaker spoke quite a bit and spoke very well on automation. We need to focus on process. It is also absolutely necessary that we meet weekly. We meet with our teams weekly in order to create that bonding, have that bonding with our teams for the understanding of what the business means, what the vision of the business is. We create a quality chart and make that quality chart public within the team. Everybody needs to understand what we mean by quality. I would now move on to the rise in the global terrorist activities, which makes it necessary we guard against bioterrorism. Bioterrorism, which is a biological attack described as the intentional release of viruses, bacteria, or other germs that can sicken or kill people, livestock, or crop. High risk foods in the event of a foodborne illness. We therefore must establish a traceability lot code for the food requiring certain information associated with different events in the supply chain. This should be in addition to the general traceability records describing our operations. We obviously have certain traceability records. However, um, the traceability lot code needs to be in addition to the general traceability records. The food traceability list includes more than just procedures. I'm sure all of us are quite up to date with procedures, with SOPs, what we call standard operating procedures. Uh, we, being in the food business, we obviously understand that we must have the SOPs in place, which by definition, um, an SOP is a set of written instructions that document a food manufacturer's routine for repetitive activity. Specific SOPs are mainly specific to food manufacturing plants. The SOP is commonly applied to production, manufacturing, and support area processes, jobs, or activities. The food traceability list includes more than just procedures. The requirements apply to both finished products and foods such as ingredients. It doesn't apply only to finished products, but also applies to foods such as ingredients. The record keeping, which is the critical tracking events. Record keeping is required for the following. The first receivers. The first receivers are people who purchase and take physical possession of a food on the food traceability list, which includes all records of receiving, location, description of the originator, of all contacts, phone numbers, emails, of the releaser of the foods, and the dates. Secondly, the transformation. The event in a food supply chain that involves changing food on the food traceability list, its package, and its label. Transformation is the event of a food supply chain that involves changing food on the food traceability list, its package, and its label. Transformation does not include the initial packing of a single ingredient food or creating a food such as manufacturing peanut butter sandwich crackers from peanut butter and crackers, or repacking. Cucumbers. We repack cucumbers. The record keeping would include the location identifier and location description for where the food was transformed and the date the transformation was completed. The reference record type and reference record numbers for the documents containing the required information. Creating, the making or producing a food on the food traceability list, for example, through manufacturing or processing. Using only ingredients, not the traceability list. Example, manufacturing peanut butter, manufacturing soft cheese from milk, salt, and other non-listed ingredients. The record keeping would include the location identifier and the location description for where the food was created and the date the creation was completed. The quantity and unit measure of the food. Finally, sales shipping. This would be identified as an event in a food supply chain in which the food is arranged for transport by sea or road from a defined location to another defined location. The record keeping for this would include records from the shipper that must establish and maintain for themselves. Records all shippers must provide the immediate subsequent recipient other than the transporter. We deal a lot in international trade. Effectively, these records are absolutely necessary in order to assist in case of returns or rejects. The three more use certification schemes, like I said earlier, are the BRC, the British Retail Consortium, the Food Safety System Certification, that's the FSSC 22000, and the Safe Quality Food Code. These schemes are benchmarked against the same criteria, the minimum requirements established by the GFSI. I take this opportunity to thank you, and I come to the end of my presentation, and I am available for any questions you may have. Thank you very much once again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So we have no questions from the audience. So would you like to say something more about the food safety and traceability in today's time, in pandemic time? What do you think? What can be the possible challenges that we face, considering that the world is facing the pandemic? So what do you think? What can be the possible challenges in terms of food safety and traceability? Am I audible to you, sir?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you come again?
Sure, sir. Just give me a minute. Can you hear me now? Am I audible to you, sir? Sir, as I was saying, am I audible to you now? Sir, I guess you are on mute.
No,
Sir, I guess you are on mute.
I can hear you.
Okay. So can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, as you're talking about food safety and traceability, as it is very important, but would you like to make some comments considering that the world is facing the pandemic situation? What are the possible challenges that we'll face as one of the industry player in food safety and traceability?
See, like the previous speaker said, when you have labor from different areas, you end up having to spend a lot on hygiene. Their understanding of hygiene has to be topmost. Effectively, things like the closed circuit television, your recordings, these things help when the workforce understands that they are constantly under surveillance, right? They understand the factor of hygiene, and this plays quite a significant role, because where you have any issues and any rejects, then you have a standby to go back to and see where the problem arose.
That's right, sir. So we have another question from the audience. There is this lady, she's asking one question. Few bakery products have less shelf life. In such cases, how do we carry out traceability and show records?
Well, you would then create your SOP based on the shelf life. So if your shelf life is shorter, right, your SOP would state that, and then your traceability would be accordingly. If you know that your shelf life is short, if you know that your shelf life of your product is short, right, then your SOP would work accordingly.
All right. I guess we have another question. Yeah, so she's asking the same thing about the same day product, especially for the same day product. I think
Well,
what you said,
like I said,
hmm,
your SOP would cover that
all right, sir.
because you would make sure
Uh,
that everything is done by the clock.
All right. All right, sir. So I think we don't have any further question. So thank you so much for giving your precious time to us, and it was really, really a great honor for all of us, all the audience, all the organizers, to have you on panel today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much for having me. You have a good day and all the best.
Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this was a very interesting session, I believe. And moving on, we have next session with the next speaker. So I request you all to quickly go to the next room and join that session quickly. And as I told you, you are all free to explore all the tools we have on the right side and the left side of your screen. Do ask questions, ladies and gentlemen. I really have to tell you that these speakers are very renowned. They have some really great insights, some really great knowledge about all the product, all the industry, all the current scenarios. So I request all of you to please be very, very, very active and participative. Ask questions. I am here to take forward all your questions. Do not hesitate. Ask any questions you have, and I will take it forward. So, once again, I request all of you to please move quickly to the next room, and I'll see you all there. Thank you.